I really like your outfit today.
Oh, thank you very much. I almost styled it myself.
Okay, so what do you think about my outfit?
I love your outfit. You always look so good.
Yeah, I was fishing for a compliment on my new jacket. It's made by Sartoria Guida.
Oh, sounds very fancy. Can I just see how the fabric feels?
Please.
Beautiful, really beautiful.
I know that she's one of your inspirations.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you inspire Phoebe Tran, you know that you've pretty much made it in life.
Oh, come on. No, don't say that.
Okay, so without further ado, let's find out who our guest is going to be.
Wonderful.
Từ góc độ của chính phủ Anh, chuyến thăm ngắn ngủi lần này của Tổng thống Trump vẫn được xem là một sự kiện đặc biệt quan trọng. Greenwich, quận phía nam London, hiện đang là ví dụ phát triển năng động nhất của thủ đô Anh. Vương quốc Anh đặt chiến lược xây dựng câu chuyện của lên và mục tiêu hướng đến cuối đầu thành phố du lịch. Phương Huyền, phóng viên truyền Việt Nam từ Vương quốc Anh.
Well, what a fascinating personality, and it is my understanding you've been following her for quite some time now.
Absolutely, since 2012.
You excited to meet her?
Very much so, yeah.
Okay, so without further ado, let's welcome our guest today. My pleasure. I'm good. Thank you. Please take a seat.
Hello. Hello, Chi. How are you? Welcome back to Vietnam.
Yeah. I gotta ask, how was your flight back?
I think to describe about my flight back to Hanoi, can say that it can be the once in a lifetime memory that you never forget it.
Okay.
Yeah. I left the UK at the early stage of the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. After 1 week or 2 weeks is like all the flights from Europe, including the UK back to Vietnam, are cancelled. But it is quite. It's like that. During my when I left the UK, the situation is get tougher. So there's rumors or there's things like in the paper that maybe the flight will be cancelled on that day. So it was quite nervous during the time.
I could imagine the headlines fuel quite a few speculation about flight cancellations and whatnot. And how did everyone kind of react on the aircraft? Like,
yeah.
Did they like go full on protective gear, wearing hats, mat suits, and
like the Vietnam Airlines staff, they prepare the best for the flight. Like you can see them in all the quarantines or customer, like people like me, all of us wearing the mask, the face mask. You try to keep the distance with other people.
So how was everyone in the quarantine facility?
Actually, I'm really happy to land at the Vân Airport that day. Because at first, like I told you before, at first I think I can't be in a flight back to Vietnam because there are many news on that day about the severe situation in Europe, and maybe there's some change with the Vietnamese, the Vietnam Airlines rules. Maybe they can cancel the flights anytime. So I feel at first I felt so much lucky to get the flight that day. And so when I was taken to the quarantine area, I feel, okay, that's great, because I will have 2 weeks in peace.
Yeah.
How come you didn't do reports on your experience in quarantine and on the flight back?
I just feel that I will enjoy this time by myself. After years in the UK, I came back to Vietnam. Imagine that after 5 years, and then I came back to Vietnam after my when I finished my working term in the UK, and then I was taken to the quarantine area. It's like that you have the time on your own. You have 2 weeks on your own, and just feel I should enjoy it.
Just to kind of segue into slightly happier times.
Yeah.
Let's go all the way back.
Can you feel it?
Obviously, we have a lot of thanks to professionals like you. We have a lot of coverage about how the situation unfolds. with regards to the virus and how countries are coping with it. And I just want to go back to like the beginning. Like, how did you find yourself in the UK in the first place?
It's a very good question because I haven't spent any other time abroad before. That's my third journey abroad, actually.
Really?
And that's the longest up to now.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think 5 years ago, I was very curious about the world. It's like you change to another country, another culture, you meet the new people. Just like you got the time to explore many new things, and to a journalist, a reporter, a TV reporter, that's kind of like a gorgeous chance for you in the career, I must say so. When you enjoyed anything, you try to adapt yourself. Naturally, things okay. Then there are many things about the UK that you can't ignore it, like the culture, the way people behave, or even the way they run the society. The society, I feel many familiar things in Vietnam. For example, like they still run many street market. Yeah,
I think that's one thing about the UK that is going to surprise a lot of people is that the culture of wet markets is alive and well in Great Britain, and I think that's something that really surprised me as well.
You went all the way to the UK. It's been such a long, like a really big transition. Like how do you portray yourself as a Vietnamese correspondent in the UK? I can say something since I've worked with you in 2012, right?
Yeah, right.
Succinct, to the point. Very Western in the sense that, you talk about issues people often talk about, right? But you try to go deep into the actual livelihoods and, the stories that are behind the news. And so that's pretty cool. It's nice to watch. And I don't get bored watching your reports. I actually like it very much. Yeah?
Oh, so now I know what's the difference about it. I'm just kidding. I want to talk about Brexit.
Brexit.
Because it occupied nearly like almost of my working term in the UK. I came there in 2015, and the Brexit happened nearly 1 year later, and then I have to follow it 3 or 4 years later, and it just nearly finished when I departed the UK back to my country, and yeah. It's like an earthquake if you follow the political news.
Tuần trước, một nửa thành viên đảng bảo thủ của bà May đã bỏ phiếu đồng ý với khả năng rời khỏi châu Âu không kèm theo thỏa thuận. Việc bà May tìm thỏa hiệp ở đảng đối lập với những người ủng hộ Brexit cứng trong đảng cầm quyền chắc chắn là điều khó chấp nhận.
You talk a lot about England and how do you really get through to the English people, being a foreigner? And that's number one.
That's a very good question.
Yeah, how do you crack them?
British people, they're very resilient, patient, but the other side of it is they are very quite quiet and like they're very polite, but they keep their feeling and they hidden inside. You ask me about it, I just say try to be yourself with them. Feel that they're still different to other European people from other European countries.
As a foreign correspondent in the UK, right? What would you say to our young in terms of how can they really up their level of international knowledge, right? Because I'm sure when you went there, you have a wide range of international and political and economic knowledge. Where should the young people start? Let's say if they're not so interested in international affairs right now.
You should start by watching your news, your reporting. It's a good start.
I feel that I'm lucky that I'm a news reporter because I feel like news is everything around us. Like I said to Phoebe on the backstage, like why I feel that I'm lucky to be in the career. You know that the meat price is very high recently, and there's a funny saying on the Facebook that when someone go to the market and they want to buy some meat, and when the butcher said that, oh wow, if you want to buy it with the low price, you go to the TV to buy it. you know about the story. That's the very simple story to tell you that news is everything around it.
What's an international affair or something that's happening internationally right now, apart from COVID-19, that the Vietnamese youth should know about, should read about, should listen about?
Actually, aside from COVID-19, is not much things right now. But yeah, you know, things in people may care about the U.S. election by the end of this year, or how the European Union and the UK arrange their free trade agreement, or the new relationship after Brexit, or many other things like the relationship between the big countries, like among the US, China, or Russia. You know, I just try to connect that it's not international things. It's just something that you feel that it might affect to our own life as well.
Yeah, see, that's the thing I was hoping that you could kind of expound on, is like, I know there are a lot of people who's going to look at the headlines and say, well, you know, these are just so removed from my own world. You know, why should I care? So could you maybe convince them like why they should care?
Or also, like, I don't understand anything about it. So
Yeah,
when
like,
I read it, I have no idea what's going on. And so why should I read about it, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe a quick example, like you see how dynamic our economy have growth in recent years, maybe 20 years, in recent 20 years. It depends a lot in our way of doing business with to the world, to our big partners like to the US or the European Union, or to our neighbor China. Yeah, so maybe some change in the government, like if they have a new president in the White House, or it may change even the relationship, or diplomatic relationship between the two countries, and maybe it's a slightly change can affect to the way we are doing business with them, and yeah, you know, so it affects our entrepreneurs, our companies, and our society, our life. I think it's very, very interesting if you observe our life from a broader vision, and then when you see the whole picture, and you should focus on the details.
Exactly, yeah. I think that's what's missing in people's lives, is just have some hand-holding, and to just help people, someone or something that helps people just kind of draw the connection, and then they will just figure out for themselves like why they should care, you know, like how it affects my life. And even not in a direct way, you know, you should still care, because it affects your communities and the way that you do business and the way that your company does business. Our theme today is individuality, and I just really want to learn more about how you know, your formative years, maybe in high school, maybe in college, influence your career choice or your style of reporting.
I'm really, really quiet in schools. Just like I read a lot. You know, I spent a lot of time reading during my time in schools. Actually, I can't say that I'm really good at studying, but I like reading.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I'm a shy person when I was young, during school and university as well. I think that the first idea of becoming a reporter, a journalist, appeared when I was in the 11th grade. But
what happened?
Yeah, my parents opposed it. You believe it? My parents opposed it, and then I quit it. But at that time, you may say that I'm not tough enough, and I I think of myself like I'm not tough enough to follow that dream. By some chance, I joined a private television company, and they are forming a financial and economic news channel at that time. It's like I started my career there.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it. That's like I give it up once, and then by some chance I got a second chance, and then.
I think it's great to hear her story, because most people think like this industry, being a journalist, people need to be extroverted. They need to be very comfortable with every type of person. But like, I think your story showcases that even if you're an introvert, even if you're shy, even if you don't come from a journalism background, you can still tell people stories, and you can still be the communicator of international affairs and get people educated as to what's happening around the world.
I think one of very important part of this job is you should research much, and you should read much, and yeah, you can't be a good reporter if you don't have a good background knowledge.
I'm very, very curious to know how you will perform in our IELTS Face-Off Challenge.
Yeah, I mean, usually you're very confident in front of the camera, but let's see how well you deal with our IELTS challenge.
In front of this camera?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's getting nervous already.
I don't think so. I think
we have an advantage.
Hi everyone, my name is Maggie and I'm from the Philippines. My Dare to Do moment was very significant for me. I have been teaching in the Philippines for 7 years and I was doing really well, I know, but something's really missing. I wanted to uproot myself, get out of my comfort zone, because I love traveling and I love teaching as well. They should go hand in hand. So one day I decided to uproot myself, go out of my country, teach in Vietnam, and I'm loving it.
So welcome back to our IELTS Face-Off Challenge. We have a little game for you to play. It's really well suited to highly intellectual individuals like yourself. Okay.
She's gonna purposely lose.
That's like the zenith, of a game. It's like it so well, you're just gonna lose, on purpose. Anyway, our game is 4 pictures, 1 word. The last time I say it is 4 pics, 1 word, but that seems to be very misleading. So,
very much so.
4 pictures, 1 word. It's pretty self-explanatory. You see 4 pictures, you're going to guess the word that is associated with the collage. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Let's get to it. All right. First one. Ooh, immediately.
Religion. This is easy. There you go.
Wait, quick.
Next one. Old world, Columbus.
Navigation.
Navigation, yeah, that's a good one. Map. Direction.
I don't understand the first picture though. What is that?
It's a telescope.
No, this one.
Maybe. Oh, the first, it's a map?
It's showing all the different routes? Or,
Seafaring.
Metal.
Metal?
Explore.
Do you have any idea?
Navy, explore.
Explore. Yeah, that's a good one.
Explore. Is it explore?
Discover.
Explorer? Exploration? No.
Verb.
Navigate.
Navigate.
It's tricky.
How many more do we have? 3? Oh, ballot. Easy. Vote. Election. Vote. Elect.
Political.
This word ends with letter S.
Elections.
Voters.
Voters. Ballots.
Politicians.
This word starts with letter P.
It begins with a T?
P.
P.
Begins with a P.
Politics.
Politics.
There we go. Okay.
I object. I object. This does not reflect politics. Animals. Evolution.
Oh, that's a medal.
Competition.
What is this?
This word starts with letter P.
P.
Starts with a P. Dang.
Perform. Performance. Performance.
This word starts with P and ends with E. It is the name of a cat's food brand. That is a word that has 3 E.
What's your go-to cat food brand?
Yeah, Purina.
Oh, Purina.
Is it Purina?
Nope.
The answer is
Pedigree. Oh, this is difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult.
No, we don't keep pets.
The only pet I keep are ants. Mining. Energy.
energy,
Yeah,
yeah.
energy. Electricity.
Fuel, power.
Solar. R.
Resources.
Oh, no. Resource.
Is it resource? Yeah.
I think that's it.
Hey.
Okay.
This is definitely a tough one.
Next time we give you politicians' pictures and then you can guess.
Oh yeah. We can just sit on the sidelines and nod in approval.
Okay, well, Huyền, thank you so much for being part of the show.
Well, thank you you guys for having me today.
Yeah,
Welcome
it's
back to
our
Vietnam.
pleasure. Yeah, we're very glad that you're safe and sound. And are you looking forward to returning to the UK anytime soon? Do you have any plans?
I think that all of us shouldn't travel anywhere this year, right?
Okay, maybe next
yeah,
year.
but I plan to go back then. Yeah, maybe someday, next year or whenever the time suits me.
Okay, so what area are you covering right now in Vietnam? Now that you're back to work.
Covering the world news.
World news. Okay. People heard it from the horse's mouth how she developed her own style of reporting, and we really look forward to your future reports.
Oh, thank you too. Thank you very much.
Well, it's been really enlightening learning about like how the situation unfolds in the UK, in Europe, and the world in general.
Yeah.
And I know that you're very glad to have met one of your, I could say inspirations, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we're really thankful that she came back to Vietnam in one piece, and we really hope that everyone who's planning to travel back to our country, that you will arrive safe and sound, and that stay safe on the aircraft. And that's everything we want to wish you.
Absolutely. Stay safe during this time, and of course, you're staying at home, so make sure you have plenty of time to watch us on BTV7 every time. We'll see you again soon.
See you again.
Ciao, ciao.